Shit, me. Guess I don't need the steering wheel right now. Put that up. Drop Chris Gowan. It's crazy. So we're getting some folks in. We're doing some subsoiling here today on the farm. We got our 3-shank ripper. 2 shanks up for the apples. The strips here that we're marking out are going to be where we're going to plant apples later. Hello, cousin, primo. Buenos dias. Juan. Buenos dias, Juan. Looks like our guy rototilling couldn't quite follow the same path. We got the marked out with the GPS tractor here. One shank down there. Marking the rows. Yes, it is a red tractor with a John Deere steering wheel, John Deere guidance, got my iPad. We're cruising at about 1.3 miles an hour. If we hit it too hard, we start breaking all these bolts back here on the ripper. So you gotta go just slow enough, but just fast enough to cover some ground. We're subsoiling, breaking up the soil. Breaking up the soil so we don't have any compaction issues when we go to plant apples here in a little bit this fall. Yeah, maybe next year. Turn the tractor around here. Lift that out of the ground. And we'll get turned around. These nice strips here behind us. That's where the apple trees are going to go later this fall when we plant. Speed up a little bit. Get ourselves straightened back out in the next row. And we'll head up the hill. And drop her back down. About 1.4 mile an hour is all we're gonna go. We got a strap on all the going around these other 2 shanks. We're not gonna use those. We will later this afternoon. We'll put the shanks down and jump into our cherry orchard, like the rows up here behind it. We're gonna plant about 80 acres, so we're gonna want to get that ripped up, but those rows are wider, so we'll drop down those other 2 shanks here in a little bit. Here in a little bit. Augustus Gloop. How are you doing this morning? I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. We got some moisture, so everything's looking good here. Just kind of slowly cruising 1.5 miles an hour back and forth across the field here. The GPS on the tractor, so it drives perfectly straight. And we're just doing some subsoiling. About all the fall colors are gone. Yes, that is a John Deere tractor, or a John Deere steering on the case tractor. We're set up for 12-foot rows, 0-inch accuracy, directly south. You can see these posts way up over there. That's our existing high-density apple orchard. We're adding on and filling up the rest of this farm. Do I know who Augustus Gloop is? I believe that is from Willy Wonka. This barn here is brand new this year. But yeah, so if you kind of back up, you see the tractor just drives itself perfectly straight with the GPS. I do have my iPad here for the occasional Netflix while we're doing jobs like this. It's a K7220, 150 horsepower tractor we're using. This is the subsoiling we're doing. Yes, then I do know Augustus Gloop. That's why I laughed when you first entered the chat. So we got cherry orchards behind us. Apple orchard over here on the side. We're going to be continuing to plant that this fall in these strips here. Had to go every third row, just so we know we can turn the tractor without having to stop and put it in reverse, because that can be tough on the tractor. I'll subscribe just for that. Well, but welcome. I didn't know my knowledge of Willy Wonka was going to gain me a subscriber here today, but that's, I guess, the more you know. The more you know. Again, we're going 1.4 mile an hour. It really it doesn't work the tractor too hard at all. So we got a brand new barn we just got put in here. We're just ripping the strips. Ripping the strips. The only thing holding these shanks up is just a ratchet strap. That's all we need. You can see the GPS drives just perfectly straight. That's the whole point, right? But it's a huge help for us here while we're doing a job like this, because we also plant like that directly north and south. We're just getting across here to the other side. I have to lift up, turn around here. We don't want to go too far because we have some underground irrigation. That's him on my profile. Yeah, the big guy. Are you just a big fan of him or something? Or why make a YouTube profile as Augustus Gloop? Big Willy Wonka fan. Oh, we're just gonna get turned around here. We'll get back in line. We'll drop the ripper back down. Oh, we hit a rock right away. This thing does a great job of pulling rocks up. Nope, just thought it would be a funny name. Well, it made me laugh when I saw it. See, that mark right there means that there's a rock that the ripper ripped up, pulled it up. You can see how the ground is disturbed like that, and probably there too. Oh, there it was. So now you can see that the middle shank is just dragging. So that means that we just broke a bolt. So we're gonna have to go back up the hill here, back up a little bit. I have to get out, and I'm gonna go put a new one in. Which is unfortunate, but that's why we have a bunch of extras. I'll set this here while I go put a new bolt in. It seems like we might be almost out of nuts too. I got some spares. Yes, Gerard, we just cracked the bolt. So I gotta go put another one in. And I'll be right back. Looks like someone's pulling in here, thinks they own the place. We'll get back over here. Whoever this is still just parked in our driveway. Not doing anything. I'm assuming he's up to no good. What's really going to make me mad is if as soon as I start pulling away, he starts driving in here. Which means he clearly isn't interested in talking. Let's see if we can get him on camera for you guys. See him over here? In the truck, just hanging out in our driveway. Like he owns the place. Oh, truck's on now. Oh. He must have seen me put my camera on him. He says, holy cow, I gotta get out of here. Oh no, we're tree guys. Well, pardon me, I forgot. We got some people here to take these trees down by our barn. That's funny. I'm over here bashing the guy, and turns out he's just here to take some trees down for us. Whoops. I can't seem to manage to go over about 1.4, 1.3 mile an hour, or I just start breaking those bolts just left and right. Which isn't what we want, because it's just a waste of time. Looks like we got some storms rolling in today. We really haven't had any moisture here in Michigan. And then in the last week, we've had multiple days of rain. We're making a lot of noise back here. We got some tree guys coming to take those down for us. Where's everybody watching from here? What time zone are you in? All the leaves have fallen off the trees. That's just too bad. When the bolts break, they have a very distinct sound. You just kind of know it. It's just such a snap. Well, we toss a couple new ones in and we're right on our way. Does this video show up in the shorts feed for you guys, or how did you come across this video? That's what I would like to know. Is there a lives page, or you just scroll through the shorts and they toss a live in the middle of it? Are you guys watching because you're interested in farming? That's what I do. We farm cherries and apples in Michigan. We're preparing strips for planting apples this fall. Kind of does look like a little bit of a nasty storm rolling in, huh? Welcome if you just joined in. We are here ripping up strips, subsoiling for planting apple trees here this fall. That's the GPS telling me I'm close to where I've been turning around. So we got to lift up the ripper, disengage the GPS. We'll make our way around the corner, and we'll start heading back up the hill toward these guys that are taking trees out. We should have taken some maple trees down before we put a barn up, but we didn't do that. So now we have to hire a company to come take the tree down safely without smashing up our barn. Before planting, we probably should have taken care of that well before to save us some money. So now we're turned back around. We'll drop that back down. And now we're marking again. You can tell we've marked before, and then we have a rototilled strip here. Obviously, the rototiller didn't have a GPS on it, so the lines aren't going to be perfect. But what we're doing is perfect, marking the rows with the zero inch accuracy here. So we're going to head back up the hill. We only have to go over to that tree line right there. So, and it's every third row. We probably only have another half hour here or so. And then we're going to go over to the cherries, and we're going to drop down these 2 shanks that are up currently, and we're going to rip 3 down at one time through some vacant ground where we will be planting cherries here later this fall. I think we were talking maybe second week of November. So yeah, I mean, we're 2 weeks away. So we're kind of rushing all of a sudden to get some of this prep done. But the shank is an interesting looking thing. It's supposed to have some tires over here on the side. That little hub, you can bolt tires onto it to help it carry the weight and the distance, but we also weren't getting down low enough with the shank in order to get as deep as we wanted to bust up the soil, so we took the tires off. Just looking gloomy out here today, but it's always a good day, nice day in the tractor. You can see the rototill strip is not in line at all with where we're going. He looks like he kind of curves it back in up front there, but probably be able to see it here. You see how we're way over here on the side compared to in the middle of the strip. But that guy's just eyeballing it. He's not being lazy like me and letting the tractor do the work for him. So maybe we'll be able to catch some footage of these guys taking these trees down. Maybe we get a little bit of what if they drop a tree on it? We got it on camera. That would be something, wouldn't it? Hoping that doesn't happen. How fast are we going now? 1.5. Oh boy. Every time we go 1.5, we snap a bolt out back. We're gonna dial that down a little bit. 1.4 going uphill. That doesn't seem to be too aggressive to me, except we're really bouncing off the rocks here. Definitely some stuff going on under the soil. Man, it looks dark over there in the horizon. Now it's smooth right out. Of course, after I turn around and get resituated to show the rocks popping. So we do have some tree removal going on here. Are there any fantasy football guys out here in the chat today? I could use some advice. I have Breece Hall, and I just don't know. I can't get behind the Jets offense right now, but I also have Kareem Hunt going up against, I think they're going up against the Panthers or something like that, one of the worst run defenses in the league. But I feel like Breece Hall can go off for 30 points at any game. Do I leave him in? Or do I take the risk and venture? But I also like to watch people on Thursday Night Football, so I might have to leave his ass in. We'll get a close look here at the. See what these guys are getting into position to start cutting some of these trees down. It's our barn. They're going to take those trees up front in the middle by the door. A couple of them are leaning the wrong way. Leaning the wrong way. Okay, we got the GPS engaged again, and we'll get ready to drop her down. Right into the dirt strip. Nope, we smoked a rock right away. She bounced up, but it's looking good now. Gorgeous day here. A little too shaky there. You can hear it or not, but there's definitely some rocks we're bouncing off the top of. You see when the soil gets disturbed like that, that usually means, and here, that there was a rock underneath that we've either lifted up or moved out to the side and kind of relocated it. What do you mean by 6-cylinder sound? And if you can see it right there, there's a rock we pulled up on one of the other passes. You just never know what's hiding underneath. We got full bars on the SF3. That's just the type of accuracy you have. I think we have accuracy down to 0%. And we also have a special, we'll go back one more. A special activations page where we'll zero this out and it'll tell me how many feet we can go. So what I'm gonna do, when we get turned around again, I think I have it set at 15 feet. Where is it? 30 seconds. Engage to trip. Trip status. Trip pattern. Yeah, so I have 15-foot spacing set up here. That's the distance between our cherry trees. So that's not really accurate for this farm right now because we do 4 feet in between our apple trees. No, this is a 6. So we have 21 feet apart. That's the distance between the rows for the apples, and then 15 feet in between the trees. So that's what that's set up for. So if I hit start, it's going to go to 15 feet, and then when it gets there, it resets down to 0, and a little light will flash on our planter when we're planting trees, and it tells us when to plant the tree, and this also counts the amount, how many times that occurs, and it'll tell us how many trees that we do. But this is not accurate for this farm because this is these are apples. That's more like 4 feet, 3 feet instead of 15. So that's going to be a sizable difference. We're talking from 50 to 150 tree difference. Well, we're getting to the end of the row. Put my phone back in the holder, and we'll get back turned around. You don't have many rocks there. Oh, there's rocks. This thing's been bouncing off of them consistently. It's just not pulling them up. We're scraping over the top of them, it feels like. We've also been picking this field consistently for like 5 years. Last year we planted grass across the whole thing. Now we're getting ready to plant over it. I probably could go drive by the rock pile in a little bit, everything that's popped up that we picked up by hand. But that's on the other side of our barn here at the top of the hill. So we're back lined up. Drop it down. And now we're moving. Where are you from? I am from Michigan. This is northern Michigan. I can feel it. We're bouncing off all kinds of stuff. It's just not popping them all the way up. That or the single shank is just moving them side to side. Sometimes it does pop them up, but... And the single shank doesn't really work the tractor that hard, but... Nice places there, yes. A lot of nice places. We have one of the most beautiful lakes in the world just over this tree line, and some other gorgeous lakes, and then the bay and Lake Michigan's all right here. You can almost see it from the top of the hill. Well, you can, but nice places, but expensive. The housing in Michigan is very expensive, especially by the water. You could take an old little hunting cabin and it can cost over $1 million just because it has a view of the lake. It's kind of getting out of control. Makes it hard for people that live here full or year round to have a living. I kind of wanted some entertainment. I'm hoping these guys start cutting these trees down here. That'd be cool to watch. Hope they don't drop one on our barn. You're from Austria. Wow. It's got to be, what, middle of the night there? Afternoon? How many hours ahead are we here in the United States? Again, we're rocking 1.5. I'm kind of testing it with the 1.5 miles. Usually we break bolts at 1.5 mile an hour. We're trying not to do that. It's afternoon, 16:22. That is 4:30 in the afternoon. See, we're not pulling up some rocks. There's one. Well, thanks for watching all the way from Austria. It is interesting. The people on the live seem to be from overseas compared to where I'm at. Or at least the ones that like to chime in, pipe in on the comments are more friendly from overseas. A lot from the Netherlands. Some people in the United States, they just like to sit back and watch, relax. See, down there, and there, you can start to see parts of the lake. Gorgeous lakes. Looks like the tree guys might go ahead and get started here. Putting blocks down underneath it. Get the truck sturdied up before they go up on the, looks like they're going to go up in the bucket and cut it down. There's our gate. We have a cattle guard there. We just smoked a rock. We got to get turned around. We'll get the old girl turned back around, and it is nice to see other places over the world. I've always wanted to go to Europe, but I haven't quite pulled the trigger yet. And a lot of my friends have gone to Germany. I have one of my buddies travels all over the world every year. Seems like he's going somewhere new. Does it cheap, lives in the hostels. He does the whole shebang. Which I don't know if I could do, but that is a lifestyle he has chosen. That's for sure. So again, in case you just joined us, we're dragging our ripper with one shank down through these dirt strips that we have previously marked. We're going to be planting apple trees. I guess I can call it November, right? We're one day away. Here, this next month, I guess. Mid-November, we're going to start planting apples and cherries. So we're just trying to start getting the ground prepared, opening it up. We like to have good loose dirt for planting. We need that for Vienna is a very beautiful city. I gotta make a trip over there. Make me take a 2 weeks with the wife and head over there. So we're trying to loosen up the soil for planting, so we give the baby tree roots the best possible chance to spread their roots as soon as we plant them. We dig them up one day, put them in a semi-truck, and then they drive across the state to our northern farm here, and we plant them the next day. So that's quite the process. We do that. We're probably on like a 5 to 6 year rotation. Last time we planted was 2019. The year before, the time before that was 2015. So we're kind of all over the place with when we plant. All depends on when we have open ground, which means we're rotating older orchards out and planting them again with new cherry trees. But this is apples. We're just starting apples. It was our first year we planted was 2021, and we just got our very first crop off of them. So we're really kind of working our way into a second crop. We do 2,400 acres total. That's what our farm does of fruit trees. So subsoiling is the name of the game this week. I will have a long form video out on it. I try and post a long video every Sunday at some point. So I like to try to get those out. There goes a, just like that, folks. That is broken. Whatever that was didn't even budge. Do you guys have beehives here? Yes, we actually have our own apiary company where we have all of our own beehives, and we do all of our own pollination for our own cherries. In my videos and my long form content, if you go to the channel and check that out, I actually have 2 videos of bees where we put them out in the orchard during bloom so that we have the proper pollination for our cherries and apples. And also I have a honey harvest where we actually we do honey extraction at our own facility, and we bottle it up and wholesale and retail sale our own honey. You can check that out in the long form content. So we have to go here and put in another bolt. Clean the boots off. We don't want too much dirt there in the cab. Yikes. I'm only down to 1 bolt. Only one more chance, folks. Might have to go to the hardware at lunch. So now that we're set, we'll drop her back down. In Austria, we have a special tractor brand for working in the mountains. What's that called? Fendt? Jeez, there's stuff everywhere here. I can't decide which to do that way. Oh, don't be. We gotta slow her down. A lot of stuff in here. A lot of stuff. Special tractor brands for working in the mountains. Whew. I got my GoPro here. I do still have to film some content for the long form. I post shorts videos once a day. I do long form once a week where I kind of go over some projects that we're doing on the farm at different stages of the year. Just kind of whatever we're doing, I just like to get on camera and show. And I do try and pop on and do a couple lives every once in a while. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, you can check out the channel, subscribe if you feel like this is something you'd like to see more of in the future. That's all very well and appreciated. And if not, thanks for stopping in. It's a really small brand called Linder. I bought one 2 years ago. And how's it work for you? Very hilly ground. Is it a wider tire base in the back? What makes it so fantastic for the terrain that you live in? Here, we're pretty relatively flat. This area is slightly more hilly than most of the state of Michigan. But most of our land that we do farm here is relatively flat, which is easy. Easy and helpful. So we're at the end of the row. We'll just pop there. Take that up. Speed up a little bit. We got to go back around and get headed south. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3 rows left. And I can already tell, judging by how the rototill strip looks, that it's going to look like our guy did not do a very good job rototilling string here. But I guess that's what we have the GPS for, right? Straighten her back out. For anyone new, this is our 3-row or our 3-shank John Deere ripper. We use it for subsoiling the ground, loosening up the soil before we're going to plant cherries and apples later this fall. After we finish this farm, we're going to drop these other two on the side here. We'll drop those down, and we will start ripping some cherry orchard. We'll see if we can dig up any more rocks. These particular lines have been worked a couple times already, so that's why we're not seeing that much pop up. We are breaking some because there's some stuff underneath where the tractor just grunts for like a half a second and then it just snaps those bolts like it's nothing. So it's obviously some big stuff down underneath that we're dealing with. It works quite well. It's lightweight and has a lowered cabin and four-wheel steering. So you're saying the back wheels turn also, or you're just saying four-wheel drive in general? Does it kind of work like that new Hummer? Has anyone else seen that new Hummer? Rick and Crab Walk with a commercial with LeBron James. LeBron Jack. Got him on my fantasy basketball team this year. How about his kid? Aggressively average basketball player. But I say that, but they're obviously he's much better than me, old Bronny James Jr. Everybody new here, we're farming apples and cherries. That's what we do on the farm. One day I decided to just turn the camera on and start making a channel and show people what growing apples and cherries looks like. A lot of people know what growing potatoes and corn, sunflowers, all the big row crop stuff. People know all about that. But there's not many channels out there for fruit. So if you're interested in knowing where your fruit comes from, this is the place for you. We produce a lot of land, a lot of cherries, a lot of pounds of cherries on our land. Very successful at that. Looks like the storm might be going ahead of us. I'm gonna take this out for a little bit. There's the one shank down. Oh, let's do a little check in with the tree guy. They're cutting away. I don't know where it's falling. Hopefully not on our building. Oh, he's cutting it and he's just holding on in his hand. Then he drops down a little bit. Cut, drop down a little bit. This looks like a one-man show. Yes, you can make it crab walk. Huden Gang, a dog walk, has a very small turning circle. I bet that's pretty handy. We could use some of that. Our high-density apple orchard are planted 12 feet apart, so if you don't have the right two-wheel drive tractor and the right type of sprayer, you have a really hard time making that turn. Just dropping it one little piece at a time. Playing it safe. You gotta play it safe. So there's our cattle guard. We build those ourselves, metal, and then we install them. Well, we're here at the end. We'll get turned back around. What an interesting idea, making a tractor able to crab walk when it turns around. Just seems so strange. Like, who comes up with that? Who goes, you know what? Let's make a vehicle have the ability to drive almost parallel. Wasn't the car design well enough? Some people can't leave well enough, good enough alone, can they? Which is a very strange thing. Can't leave well enough alone. So we'll hit the tractor back. We'll drop that down. And now we're ripping. We have one more. We're gonna drive back up, and then we'll be done with this. With the one shank. Then we're gonna go to a cherry orchard. Put the two shanks down after lunch. Maybe I'll go back live for that. I got to get some lunch and go to the hardware store to get some more bolts because, as you can tell, I only have one left. I'm not sure that's gonna make it. So if you're gonna stick around for that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live here later this afternoon with the three shanks down and see how much trouble we can get into with that. There's a rock here. That lifted the whole ripper up, but it must have just scraped across the, oh my God. Yeah, dang. It was always rocky here too when we were picking. This whole hillside just has a little more clay in it. So stuff likes to stick a little bit harder. Just likes to stick a little bit harder. Man, we're bouncing all over the place. Ooh. All kinds of stuff. Be cool one day to pull up some buried treasure or something. You can tell there's actually a rock right there. really testing these bolts on the last couple down and backs here on this farm. Eesh. Holy. So I think if we were going any faster, we'd be snapping bolts. You need stronger bolts, 8.8 instead of 12.8. We've tried multiple different ones. We have some different lengths because when you kind of put stress on, some of them we have are just too short. And so it puts, when you put stress on the threads, it's not as strong. We definitely aren't using grade A bolts. But part of the deal with these shanks is you want them to break off. Otherwise you start to bend metal. If it hits something immovable underground, you want it to kind of bust. You want them to break. So that's why we kind of use these bolts here. They're not the strongest, but they do stretch and break. So it kind of doesn't let us hurt the tractor at all, or really hurt any part of our ripper here. But we're gonna get down to the end one more time. How do you plant trees? Well, my friend, we're gonna find that out here in about 2 weeks. We use this same tractor with the GPS. Apples are, we use a double row planter in the apples. We plant two rows at a time. The cherries, we plant 1 row at a time. We pull it, like I said, right behind this tractor. We got one guy sits in the back in the middle, and as we drive across the field, we have a light attached to the planter. That also attaches to the GPS here in the tractor. And the tractor will tell us when we need to put the tree in the ground. So it's actually a pretty slick process. That'll be coming out in a video here probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks when we plant. I want to get some drone shots of it and get some great footage of everybody, you know, the whole process that it entails planting trees. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see that in the future. I think we're planting 80 acres. I think that's around 7,000 to 10,000 trees, somewhere in there. We grow all of our own trees in our nursery. Something breaks anyway, so you better break the cheap parts. That is right. We need to break the cheap parts. And snapping a bolt instead of bending metal seems to be a cheaper option. That is for sure. That is for sure. It just looks so dark over there. Oh boy, that was a big rock. It just looks like rain everywhere but here. Sun's shining right now. Dang. The problem is once we put the other arms down, then we're adding another 2 bolts that could potentially break at any time. Not just the one. And the ones that we have for the other shanks are much smaller in diameter. So in theory, this process could go much slower. And it's going to work the tractor a little harder with those extra shanks in the ground. Whoa, that lifted one right up. You could hear, I don't know if you could hear the tractor grunting, but it did not like that. Yeah, this guy with the tree's already halfway down. This guy already got the tree halfway down, looks like. He's just making his way. Looks like he's got one side skimmed all the way up. You're not joking though. Something does always break. That is for sure. For anybody who just joined and you're wondering, yes, this is a Case tractor with John Deere steering wheel, John Deere guidance. Believe it or not, for a price you can have a John Deere system installed. They just replaced the steering wheel with this motor. Obviously runs into your GPS. I do have one of those fancy globes on the roof here that attaches or acquires the satellite signal, and away we go. It's fantastic, especially if we're doing precision stuff like this where we're trying to keep our rows straight. You can see this is going to bounce between 179 degrees south and 180. We're on a hill right now, so that's why it's at 179. We're getting off on accuracy a little bit, but it should bring it back in. We're already back to 179. So 180 like that is directly south. And that is the way we're headed right now. Look, I'm way up there. Wonder how many trees we are having them take. There's a batch with 3 of them there, but I don't know if we're gonna take those 3 out or not. I think only 2 of them were in danger of falling toward our barn. So I'm not quite sure what the thought is, but it looks like he's making his way over to the 3rd tree. So we may be just eliminating all of it. I wonder if they're gonna chip them too. That would be nice. Wouldn't have to worry about taking care of that. Well, we're here at the end. There's my GoPro for the long form videos. That's our up button. We're getting here to the end. The GPS says that's it. That's all of our rows. We can speed up here a little bit. Okay, I was wondering about the color. Yes, it's funny. The color, the color does not match. The logo does not match the color, but that is on purpose and by design, my friends. So there it is. All of our rows are now marked again. We will have to row-to-till these strips one more time. We're actually going to widen them out, make those a little bit wider. They're a little too short right now. So we're going to widen those out with our next pass on the row-to-tiller. That's on a John Deere 5525, I believe, our 4-wheel drive one. So now we got to get ready to move farms. We're gonna transform the ripper from a 1 shank to a 2 shank or to a 3 shank, and then we're going to start ripping up our cherry orchards. Here he is. We're spying on him. The wind's blowing the right way today to keep the trees from hitting that. He's got quite the little stack right behind his truck there. That's a brand new expensive well. Smack. Then our old existing well is right here. We don't want that to get landed on. I like when he just cuts it and holds onto it, and then he just chucks it. Kind of a windy day to be up there, don't you think? Steer and Case work together. Steer is an Austrian brand. You know, it never ceases to be anybody else that wants to jump in on the tractor game, you know? We're gonna get back over to my pickup truck here. Probably put these other 2 pins in and drop the 2 shanks down on the side. And then we'll go run to the hardware store, get some more bolts that we need. And we're going to grab some lunch, and then we're going to come back. And we're going to move right over here on the other side of these orange cherry trees to where our next cherry orchard is that we're going to start ripping, busting up the soil. We injected some goodies into it earlier. So we're going to try and open that soil up as well and do the same type of thing that we're doing here right now, but over there. That'll be after lunch, but we're going to get right here to the pickup truck. Tractor in park, and I'm going to go take that strap off, and we're going to drop these shanks down and get ready for using all 3 of them in our cherry orchard. So that's exciting. We need they're different size. Oh, hello friends. My phone fell. Probably from me reefing on it. I don't know how I'm gonna get that. I don't know how I'm gonna get that in there. The thing is, I'm gonna need a sledgehammer to tap that thing into its place. No people around, just nature. Yeah, just me, just fighting with myself consistently. Whoops. Very windy today, very windy. Well, we'll show you guys I'll show you the tractor quick before we head to lunch. It's our Case 7220, 150 horsepower, Case Magnum. It's still in great condition. We take pretty good care of it. It's about as big as a tractor as you need on a cherry farm. Yes, we have a Case 7220 with John Deere guidance and steering. Explained that earlier in the live. If you're new to checking it out here. This is our John Deere 3 shank ripper. We were just using the singular one earlier, but now we're going to be rocking the triple. See if we can make the tractor work a little bit. You can tell that this one in the middle is already bent and probably isn't going to last much longer. So like I said, there's our two new ones. These ones are significantly smaller. I think the other ones are 1 1/8 and these are 11 sixteenths. No, 15 sixteenths. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try and drop this bad boy into the ground here after lunch. So if you want to see the next live, get notified. Don't forget to subscribe with the notifications on so you know when I go live here in, I don't know, probably the next 2 hours. Maybe less. I just got to get some food, get some more of these bad boys, and we're going to go get started in the next field. So thanks to everybody who's tuned in on this live. Again, we'll be live again this afternoon. If you want to watch us try and pull this bad boy through the soil, subscribe with the notifications on so you know when that's going to happen, which will be later, but you don't want to miss it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Gerhard. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments, everybody. We'll be live again this afternoon, I believe, and we'll put the old 3 shank to the test. That's going to be our goal. Put the triple shank down, see if we can get the old Case 7220 to grunt. See if we can get her to work a little bit. But I do need to get some more bolts because this is our last one, and that one's for the main shank. As you can tell, this main shank is bent already, which means that it's going to break as soon as it hits anything that has any sort of resistance. So we want to get away from that. Triple shank action. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go jump in the old Chevy High Country here. We're going to go grab some lunch, run to the hardware. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys later this afternoon with the second live stream of the day. Thanks.